Hello, this is the Health, Safety, and Emergency Preparedness Refresher Workshop developed by Exploration Study Abroad for faculty leaders of off-campus seminars. Remember, you are required to review this workshop prior to every seminar. You have already attended the mandatory risk management workshop required of all faculty who lead a study abroad seminar. During that workshop, you learned a lot about policies, procedures, and emergency planning. This presentation will not repeat that information, but rather will highlight important aspects to remember before going abroad with students again. This workshop can be viewed at your convenience. Let's get started. This training is important to make sure we have a consistent and appropriate emergency response and are adhering to BW policies. It also helps reduce risk and ensures a safe and positive experience for you and the students. There are plenty of horror stories that make headlines of what can go wrong on a study abroad program. The good news is, international travel is not riskier than staying on campus. By being prepared, you will be able to help prevent a serious situation. You should know you are not alone in this process. There are many on-campus resources available to you. Exploration Study Abroad will be your main resource, along with the handbook provided. Remember, all of your program information can be found on your application site. There are also some off-campus resources available to you. For example, GeoBlue Health Insurance for medical information, OSAC.gov, and the State Department, which will keep you informed of current events at your seminar location. Let's discuss pre-departure preparation. By now, you should be familiar with the Study Abroad online application system. In short, this is your online portfolio. All forms, documents, policy information, and budget receipts are stored here. Remember, all of these forms must be completed and submitted prior to departure, including the host country information form, the emergency action plan, the final itinerary, and final budget. While abroad, there are several items you are required to carry with you. Prior to departure, Study Abroad will provide you with copies of students' medical history forms, emergency contact information, and passport copies. This information can be accessed on Studio Abroad. However, in case you are in an emergency where there is no internet access available, it's important for you to have the hard copies with you. Study Abroad will provide you and the students with an emergency wallet card. These cards include important in-country contact information, the address and phone numbers of the hotels, as well as your cell phone number where students can reach you 24 hours. You will also be given a first aid kit. Please remember you are not allowed to distribute medication to students. However, you can inform the students the first aid kit is available and encourage them to take whatever they may need. Study Abroad will register you and the students with the U.S. State Department through the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, or STEP. This registration helps the U.S. Embassy contact you in case of an emergency, whether natural disaster, civil unrest, or a family emergency. It is important that you stay up to date with any travel alerts or travel warnings issued for the locations you will be traveling. As a reminder, a travel alert is less serious and informs you to be aware of your surroundings. A travel warning is a more serious situation and is issued in the location you will be or are traveling. Study Abroad will make arrangements to either reroute the program or, if necessary, return the group to the United States immediately. Now let's talk student responsibilities. As you likely remember, students are expected to fully participate in all activities, both on campus and during the seminar. Students are also expected to understand and comply with the Study Abroad Behavior Contract and the BW Student Code of Conduct. In line with these BW rules, students are expected to avoid illegal drugs and practice responsible alcohol consumption. Since many countries outside the U.S. have more lenient alcohol policies, we understand that we cannot fully prohibit students from drinking. However, it is important to remember that students are not allowed to drink during events that are sponsored by BW. While we understand that students may drink, as faculty leaders, if you know a student has been drinking, then it's a problem. As a reminder, students who do not participate in all excursions or who present a behavior problem during the seminar can be sent home at the expense of the student. The protocol for student conduct violations will be discussed later in this presentation. Study Abroad will enroll you and your students in GeoBlue insurance. This insurance is included in your budget and only covers medical expenses while abroad. Don't cancel your current insurance because GeoBlue only covers time spent abroad. After Exploration enrolls your group with GeoBlue, you will receive an email with your ID number and a link to set up your GeoBlue account in order to access your insurance card. print out your card and carry it with you at all times while abroad. It is also important to familiarize yourself with the GeoBlue website and how to locate in-network facilities. If a student needs medical attention while abroad and does not have the funds to pay for the medical treatment, BW will cover these expenses and charge the student's BW account. The student will be responsible for working with GeoBlue directly for reimbursement. Let's discuss what happens during the program. Dynamics between the faculty leaders can make or break a program's experience. Remember, one faculty must always be available. Open communication is key between faculty leaders and students. You both need to be on the same page with policies, so students are not viewing one faculty member as a disciplinary and one as a mom or dad role. Both faculty must know the itinerary inside and out, so students see the faculty as having equal roles. We suggest making meals, especially breakfast, mandatory. This is a great opportunity for both faculty to check in with the students. You must always know where students are. They must see you directly if they're leaving or not feeling well. This is why students should feel comfortable talking to both leaders. It's important faculty work together to create the program. Provide students with opportunities to reflect. Based on feedback we've heard over the years, students want reflection time. One easy way to incorporate reflection is setting aside mandatory time for journaling. Have journal prompts that link to the EXP essay. We suggest starting the program with more structure, as you can always dial back. It is difficult to add structure later. Be mindful of cliques forming. Try to mix your students up as much as possible, especially with roommate assignments. Overall, faculty should work together throughout the seminar. For example, when going through security, one faculty should lead the group, while the other waits until all students have made their way through. Upon arrival, notify explorations. We will then email students' emergency contacts, notifying them of your safe arrival. Shortly after arriving on location, look over the emergency action plan to ensure all procedures, meeting places, and methods of communication still apply and make any necessary adjustments. As soon as possible, hold an on-site orientation with students. The purpose is to familiarize them with the area, cover pertinent housing and logistic information, and go over contact information. The orientation should include a walking tour of the neighborhood, highlighting nearby grocery stores, ATMs, and public transportation. Discuss curfews and academic expectations. Make students aware of any risks they should avoid, such as unsafe areas. Review the emergency action plan and inform the students of the student leader. Make sure students know how to contact you beyond your cell phone using apps like Skype, WhatsApp, Viber, etc., as well as where you will be staying. Baldwin Wallace expects all faculty leaders to act as role models and display professionalism at all times. Here are some quick policy reminders. As a faculty leader, you are required to be on call 24/7 throughout the entire program. Renting a vehicle is prohibited because you will be at fault if something were to happen. High-risk activities should be avoided as they are not covered by insurance. Students are not allowed to leave the country, even if it's during a free day. The BW faculty alcohol policy states that Baldwin Wallace University funds may not be used to pay for alcoholic beverages consumed by faculty, staff, or students. This means alcohol cannot be served at a BW-sponsored or affiliated event, such as group dinners included in the budget and itinerary. Be mindful of social drinking. You should not drink with students. Exploration defines an emergency as a circumstance that poses a genuine risk to or that has already disturbed the safety and well-being of the seminar and participants. In other words, an emergency is anything that is newsworthy. In the event of an emergency, safety is the first concern. Do not call parents without the participants' permission. Do not speak with members of the media. Do communicate with Exploration as early and as often as possible. A student incident at BW is defined as any situation that is detrimental to the educational interests of the program and university. Examples can include student is consistently late, student violates the drug or alcohol policy, student harassment, or a criminal offense while abroad. The student incident report is to be filled out in the case of a disciplinary incident. We recommend a zero tolerance policy. Set standards early and address the issue immediately. During the application process, students sign a behavior contract, which informs them they must abide by the BW Code of Conduct. If you are not already familiar with the Code of Conduct, you can find it in the BW Student Handbook. If students violate the code of conduct, the disciplinary protocol is as follows: an oral warning for the first offense, a written warning for the second offense, and after the third offense, dismissal from the seminar. Inform explorations of the issue and your response. It is especially important to document all incidents and situations by filling out a detailed incident report and submitting it to the Director of Explorations. Upon return, students will go through normal BW judicial process. Here's a scenario. Hotel staff informs you that unregistered guests are in a student's room. This actually happened during a previous BW program. How would you handle this situation? To take control of the situation, faculty spoke with students involved, issuing them a warning. The next day, the entire group was pulled together to remind all students the behavior contract and the consequences for violating it. An incident report was completed and all details were shared with Explorations. Luckily for that program, there were no other problems. It is your responsibility to complete a student accident report if a student becomes sick or injured, even if the issue is minor. Minor incidents may include ear infection, constipation, diarrhea, sinus infection, or any time the first aid kit is utilized. When needed, locate the closest GeoBlue facility for an in-network doctor. If a student has to visit a doctor, pharmacy, or is hospitalized, one leader must remain with the student while the group continues on. This is when your appointed student leader will step up into their role. As always, inform Explorations. Don't feel like you're alone during a crisis. One of our main responsibilities is to provide you with the support you need to resolve whatever situation may arise. We are here to assist you in any way we can and always put your safety and the safety of the students first. During a crisis, Explorations will assemble an emergency team to determine the best way to proceed. Explorations will communicate with students' emergency contact, keeping them updated. In those rare, severe circumstances where additional assistance is needed, a BW representative will travel to your location. If you witness or learn about a crime, sexual assault, harassment, misconduct, etc., inform Explorations. We will report to Title IX or Clery. As you probably know, students today are very active on social media and do not think twice about sharing their every thought and activity with the world. Exploration also utilizes social media, as this type of connectiveness has its benefits, especially when marketing your program. While your program is abroad, we ask one student to take over our social media accounts to share program experiences in real time. Explorations will meet with this student to discuss all the do's, don'ts, and compensation. Social media is also a great communication tool for students and could alleviate homesickness. However, there are some dangers with social media. A student might isolate themselves from the group, be distracted while walking, and could post sensitive information. Some sites allow you to indicate your exact location. This indicator could make it easy for someone to find you or your students, making you a target. The safest way to prevent this is to turn off the indicator. As a reminder, all faculty-led study abroad programs are EXP approved, so your course syllabus must include a final EXP written reflection. Upon return, faculty leaders are required to complete an EXP rubric for each student. The rubric is located on TaskStream, which can be found on your course Blackboard page. If you need additional assistance, you can contact Academic Affairs or the Assessment Office. Upon returning to campus, there are several items that need to be wrapped up in a timely manner. Within 30 days upon arriving home, please submit the following items to Explorations: your expense report and all receipts, your first aid kit, a summary report sharing the highlights and challenges that occurred during the seminar, an overview of the budget, any learning goals and outcomes, and recommendations for future planning. You also need to return your BW credit card directly to the purchasing office. Explorations will issue students a post-program evaluation. Please do not submit student grades until this mandatory evaluation is completed. Once all evaluations have been received, Explorations will provide you with a summary report. If your program was conditionally approved to run in the future, you must submit the final full program proposal within 60 days upon return. The Explorations Advisory Council will review the full proposal, the student evaluations, and the faculty post-trip report to officially approve the program. Now that you've completed the Emergency Preparedness Refresher Workshop developed by Explorations Study Abroad at Baldwin-Wallace University, we would like to remind you of your next steps. Contact and meet with Counseling Services, diversity affairs, and if a participant has a documented disability, with disability services as well. Let the adventure begin, in a safe and prepared manner, of course.